Today you'll see a beautiful red dress. It's a dress of dreams, really. It's really, really beautiful. The details of the pleats, the fake waist tie, and it's for a neat fabric, so it's super comfortable. I'm thrilled. Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from liftingpinsandneedles.com. Welcome to this channel that is all about sewing, limitless sewing, and I can't swipe the smile off my face because I've made yet another red dress. It's a color that I really love. I always make sure I have red fabric in different types, wovens and knits, and I've got different types of red dresses. They're all very different. They're all going to serve me for different occasions, and I'm just happy to keep on adding red dresses because why not? What I'm talking about is a brand new pattern from Sinclair Patterns called Mirabel. This can be either a top or a dress. It's designed for knit fabrics. And you can see the line out here that there's some asymmetric features on the front. The front is composed of a really big piece. It's got some pleats and a fake tie. It's really cool. You can see that across here, it looks like there's a tie there, but it's fake. It's just so interesting. And there's pleats going up here diagonally and then pleats going down here on the right side of the body. But just looking at that, I'm drawn to the asymmetry straight away, and just the simple shape of the dress, just to let those pleats shine, I think is beautiful. The back has two pieces. There's a separate bodice, no sway back issues here. You're never going to have excess fabric because it's designed and drafted beautifully there. So there's a little bodice, and then there's the back skirt, which is simple. They're both cut on the fold. Rounded neckline can be low or high. I'm doing the high option. Sleeveless, or you can do sleeves, short sleeves, 3/4, long sleeves, all the things. You can make either a top or a dress. If you're making the top version, you can make that bottom skirt piece be asymmetric if you want. But the skirt for the dress is just straight all the way through though. That little draped waistband that we have over here is supposed to be a tad above the natural waist. Because the Mirabel top and dress is brand new at Sinclair Patterns. It's 27% off through Sunday the 12th of October. Have a look. It's an amazing pattern. I really enjoyed sewing it. You'll see a lot of sewing content here so you can put those pleats together. If you'd like to support my work here on YouTube, you can use my affiliate link and it doesn't cost you anything extra. When you click on my link, it'll take you directly there. If you end up purchasing, I receive a small commission from the designer. If you love all the sewing that you see here and you'd like to support what I do, using my link is a great way and I super appreciate it. Thank you. For the fabrics, you need knit fabrics, of course. Do not attempt this with a woven. It's not going to work. It's not going to fit. And plus the fit is sort of semi-fitted around here, fitted at the bust. So you need your fabric to stretch horizontally and vertically. Hopefully both stretch the same, at least 30%. So just check your fabric that it stretches 30% horizontally and vertically and you'll be okay. Fabrics that are a big no-no here are really stiff cotton lycra, Ponte Roma, Liverpool, anything heavy, because the pleats or that area could get extremely bulky. So light to medium weight are going to work best. You can use rayon, modal, bamboo spandex. I'm saying you can use them. I'm not a fan. Usually these fabrics tend to be quite clingy and your garments end up looking longer and looser than what you expect. But you can use it. I'm not saying you can't use it. ITY would work, double brush poly, single brush poly. An athletic knit, of course, is always going to work. That's what I've chosen for mine. Sweater knits, if you want to make a winter version, but then I would do the binding on the neckline with something else. I wouldn't use sweater knits to finish necklines. No. You don't need any other special notions other than your fabric to make this one. So I love that. The sizing is from 0 to 30 US. And if you've sewn Sinclair patterns before, you know that there are height files. So you choose that first. I think it's extremely helpful, especially to get bodice heights and arm lengths and skirt lengths all right. It makes more of a difference if you're petite or you're tall, because you're usually making more fitting adjustments rather if you're like a standard height. So check here in this table what height file you are. I'm always sewing the tall file, and then you go off and plot your measurements of the circumferences that you have. I'm doing a size 14 with the tall file right now. Fitting adjustments, 0 fitting adjustments. I had a good look at all the information given to me. I knew there was a little bit of negative V's around the bust, around 1.5 inches. That is absolutely fine. That's why we have stretchy fabric. Don't be scared of a little negative V's, you know, around the bust, especially. It's going to make your shoulders and your neckline fit properly. Then at the waist, you have about 2.5 inches of positive V's. So you're going to have a little space around here. And then at the hips, in theory, if you closed up all the pleats and it was just with all the pleats closed, the ease around the hips would be 0, but it's not 0. You're going to see that the pleats on the side of the skirt that has them add all that ease that you need to be able to live your life and for your garment not to look like a bodycon dress. It's the fact that the toe file works for me so many times already. I know the block. I've sewn so many of these patterns. I had zero doubts that this was going to be amazing. I didn't make a test garment. I just went ahead and chose my beautiful red athletic knit and went ahead and made my dress. What you see today in this video is the Cassie dress, also from Sinclair Patterns. It's gorgeous. I've also made a top as an upcycle from a man's shirt. There's lots of little seams. I love it. It's got this like drop shoulder. Looks like a cap sleeve, but it's not. V neckline with a little seam here with a little bit of gathers, a tie. It's just so comfy to wear. I can wear this all day. I can even have a short nap in it. It's so comfy. And the rayon linen blend, amazing. So if you haven't checked this out, I posted it a few weeks ago. It's a good one. I'm going to show you how to put the front together, which is the most important part. That has all the pleats, the fake tie over here, the pleats of the skirt, how do you put all of that together. So you see that all the things I'm going to show you are mainly done with the sewing machine, and I've done a lot of hand basting as well. But then all the regular seams that you're going to keep doing, like shoulders and sides and all of that, you can do that with the serger. This is one of the large pieces of the Mirabel top from Sinclair Patterns. It's pretty huge. You have to extend all your fabric because you just cut one. You need to cut it with the fabric right sides up. My fabric is pretty much the same on both sides, but I can tell the difference, which is the right and the wrong side. So I do have my right side up right here. And here you can see the armholes, the shoulders, the neckline. This is the skirt part here. And all these pleats that we're going to form here are going to be sort of the waist area. So there you can see it looks more like a dress. This is a fake tie. And then over here on this side, underneath this part, there's going to be another front piece that's going to have pleats. This one was also cut with the right side of the fabric up. I'm going to scoot this over so you can see. So it's got a straight section there, but then that section is curved because it's got the hip curve there. Pleat marks over here. So these are the two front pieces. Here are the back pieces. You can see that there is a bodice seam at the back. I love that because it always makes everything fit so much better. And here are binding pieces. The shorter ones for the sleeveless armholes and the longer one for the neckline. You can also sew sleeves if you want to. This is the armhole. This is the side seam here, and here are all the pleats. They have different shapes because it's being true to the shape it's going to have once everything's folded. I hope you can see them. I've marked them in a black friction pen. I'm going to take that first line and bring it towards the second right here and pin it. So basically this pleat, the volume of the pleat is coming towards the side seams, and so that's how all the pleats are going to be made. That is the first and easiest pleat because it's sort of straight. For the next pleat, this is the middle of it. So I'm going to take it, get it like this. You can see that that is the top of the pleat. And same, I'm going to fold it this way. You can see that I'm getting these diagonal pleats here. So this next one, you can see that mountain, that is the middle of the pleat. I'm going to take this section here and fold it up to there. You can see how everything's going to turn out super flat here. And also the volume of this pleat is coming this way towards the side seam. Same as with this one. So I'm going to take that bottom of the mountain, that's the top of the mountain. I'm going to take this, move it over until this is right in the middle. There. And again, I'm going to have a smooth area. I just have to fiddle with it and get it nice and smooth. There it is. So far we have 3 pleats. Now we have this one. Same. Take this bottom, fold it over until this one is on the top there on the middle. And we pin it. There you can see the whole bodice, armholes, all the pleats have been folded. Before we continue, we need to fix these pleats in place. So I'm going to fiddle with them. I'm going to hand baste them super securely over here, right on the edge. I prefer to do it with hand basting because I can control everything much better with my hands rather than with a machine. So I'm just going to stitch right there, smaller than 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, check it out. I've gone the extra mile with the hand basting. I hand basted a little bit of the pleat direction here on all of them just so that my needle doesn't get in the way. I've hand basted everything. It's really, really secure. On the wrong side, it looks crazy like that, but it's going to be all fine. I can easily remove this later, and I'm confident this is not going to go anywhere. So let's put this aside and let's work on the side panel. Here, the pleats are much more simple. This is the center area. This is the hip area. You can tell the curve right here. And so from the hip area, we're going to start forming the pleats from here. You can see my black lines right there. So there's long lines and there's little short lines in the middle. You can ignore the little ones. That's just the middle of the pleat. But basically, you take this line and bring it over to that line. And that's the first pleat. The little line in the middle is just hidden in there because it's just the center of the pleat. So that's one. And then it's the same for all the rest. So then we have this next one. This line goes to that line. So just like that. Remember, this is the right side of the fabric facing up. That's why I made sure to mark with a friction pen. I know that can come off with heat. I wouldn't do something permanent here. And then we have the third one over here. There's going to be one line left over. Don't worry about that one. Just leave it because that comes in a later stage. Again, as with the other pleats, I'm going to hand baste these in place so they can be super secure. Okay, here is the big piece. There is a small side piece. Pleats are done. Fabrics are right sides up right here, and we have these straight sections. So now I'm just going to place them right sides together. Right there. Pin it and sew it. Okay, there we have it. The seam that unites the side panel with the big piece. And let's just open this up again so that we have the right side up. Now we take this line and match it to that line and it forms a type of pleat there. Again, if it's a different type of pleat, bigger than all the rest, I'm also just going to quickly hand baste that into place. So that was the last pleat that was pending on this side front piece. Now that the pleats are done and basted, I've turned the dress wrong sides up. So make sure it looks exactly like this, that on your left hand, over here, you have this tie. And then you have the bodice here and the skirt right here. So we need to match this up, start with the bottom, this part of the skirt, match it up to this part of the tie, the bottom part of the tie. It's going to match exactly. So that my fabric doesn't move, I'm just going to put a few pins here, quite further away from the edge, just along this bottom of the tie. In the end, this is all going to be just one seam, but I'm pinning it in separate stages. Okay, there we have it. We fold the tie like this and we pin it along here. This is going to match right there. So I'm going to use the same pins I used before just to match up this edge now. On the right side, the tie is going to look like this, folded. And then we're going to take this again and match it up to this. So we're going to have a few layers of fabric here and just one seam. Okay, so we have 3 layers right here, this fold. And now we're going to take it all and match it up to this part of the pleats. So the fake waist tie is going to be between these 2 seams that have the pleats. So it's going to come from in between. Now, again, I'm going to use the same pins I've been using the whole time to line it all up. The pleats here have nothing to do with each other. The ones here and the ones there, they shouldn't match or anything like that. Remember, there's going to be a tie in between. We are going to have quite a few layers in some sections here. And over here, we're going to have a pointy bit here. So I've got everything pinned together. Let me show you how this looks like. On the right side, it looks like there's a tie coming from here. Pleats going that way, pleats going this way, and this right here in the middle. I think it's super cool. The instructions say you can do this on the serger or the sewing machine, and you can use either 1/4 or 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. So I'm going to use the 3/8. I'm going to have more space to deal with all these layers. And I'm going to be using a narrow zigzag for this one. Here on this end, I'm going to end up with nothing. It's like a little dot point there. I've pinned the back bodice to the back skirt together. It's a bit of a curved seam here, and I'm just sewing them together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance directly on the seam. Okay, here's the front with the right side of the fabric facing up. Over here, this is a regular side seam. This tie starts around here and it just sort of drapes over all these seams and the pleats. I think it's really cool. What we do over here is take this pleat and just distribute the volume half and half. So there's a seam. So half is coming this way, half is coming that way, and I've pinned it in place. I'm not going to baste it. I'm just going to pin it for now. Okay, here's the back. I've got my seam there. And now we sew side seams. I'm going to match this seam up with the seam at the back right there. The rest I'm going to finish off camera. I have shoulder seams to sew. I have side seams, binding, hem, pretty basic things. If you're doing the sleeve, you can go ahead and do that on the flat if you want to. I like to do it on the round. So up to there, what takes a little longer is doing all of this. But once you've got all the front done, the rest is just like sewing any basic knit garment. Check out my dress. It's so amazing. Now, let me say I'm going to come clean right away. These neckline finishes, these are supposed to be a binding that goes to the inside of the dress. I've got nothing against that. I just wanted to use this red leather look jersey that I have that matches this red tone, and I think it just gives it something extra. So I did my binding exposed, binding a little taller than the regular binding. I used the same length provided in the pattern piece. So let me show you one clip here of how I do my binding. It's my preferred way. I stitch in the ditch. I always mention it because you'll see me doing this a lot. I absolutely love this technique. But the technique of the pattern is to fully hide this binding on the inside. So let me just show you that in a few seconds, so you'll be able to see that and apply it to other garments, or this one if you want to. You know, if this would have been a print or whatever, I would have done the hidden binding. I wouldn't, I wouldn't have a preference. But I just wanted this special look here with a leather look jersey. I think it looks beautiful. The pattern uses a neat binding that goes to the inside of the garment that wouldn't be seen. I use the same length of these pieces, but I just made mine a little wider. Mine are 4 centimeters, 1.5 inches instead. Just a little bit bigger than the original binding pieces. I sewed the short ends, divided my armholes and necklines in quarters, same as the binding, and I'm sewing them right sides together. The other edge that you see there has been serged, so it's nice and neat once we finish this. After it's sewn, I just take this binding and wrap it around the seam allowance, so I'm not losing any seam allowance here on the neckline and the binding, and I'm pinning it. This is catching the binding from the other side. After doing that all the way around, I'm stitching in the ditch. I don't use any special presser foot, just my regular one, and I'm just really, really careful to stitch right in there, and it's a pretty invisible seam. And that leather look jersey is going to look so stunning. It's a detail I really like. And it's all done with a narrow zigzag, and it's a stretchy type of binding, so you can slip it on over your head and it's not going to start popping threads. It's a really neat finish. This is the fake tie. So on this side, it's just normal. But then over here, it looks like there's a tie around your waist, but there isn't. It's all caught in the side seam. That seam that we did there, so many layers, has all those diagonal pleats. And then we have all the pleats that come to the bottom. There is a seam on the skirt here that unites both pieces. The back, super simple. You can see the seam has a little bit of a curve. It fits so well on the small of the back. You're going to see it on. It's an amazing fit. Now the rest, super simple, shoulder seams, side seams. I did my hem by hand. I think it would have looked absolutely horrendous if I'd done it with a machine. If I had a cover stitch, I think it would be a different story. Prefer to do it by hand because I know it's going to look great. I took a few minutes to remove all those hand basting stitches I did at the beginning. I did do them in a white thread so that I could see them, so I could get them all out. You know, sometimes I've had comments saying, why don't you baste in the same color? And then and I think, because then I can't see it and I can't remove it, and it might tug and make the garment pull differently. It won't hang beautifully if there's little bits left in there. So that's why. That's how it looks like on the inside. There's that diagonal seam that we did there that ends up like in a dot right there. And it's just so, so nice. I mean, this was so fun to do. So beautiful. Yeah, it's just so much fun to sew. Let's see it on. This is my gorgeous Mirabel dress from Sinclair Patterns in a red athletic knit. I sewed the toe file here, which makes a huge difference. I have 0 fitting changes here. Just printed, sewed it, and it fits amazingly. I'm sure you know how happy I am with my red dress. And there are lots of asymmetric features here on one side, these little pleats that make this dress super special and super fun to sew. There's a type of tie there, but it's a fake tie. And there's pleats on one side, on the left side of the body. Below that fake tie, at the back, there is a seam of the bodice, which makes the lower back fit amazingly, no excess fabric. And up closer, you're going to see there are drapey features above that fake tie and below. So there's pleats on the bodice and on the skirt, but on the left side. So genius and so fun to put together. Up on the top, I used binding that's exposed with a leather look jersey just because I wanted to have that detail, but the original pattern has the binding not seen on the inside. I chose mine sleeveless. You can do sleeves, but you know, sleeveless is always going to be great. There is a lower rounded neckline option as well. That little tie is meant to hit right above the waist. It's not empire at all, but it's a tiny little bit above, which I think sits well for everyone. How amazing. I mean, I am thrilled with this dress. It's so nice. It's so different, unique. The sewing was interesting. But after you get over the pleats, you just need to be a little bit accurate. Once you have the front assembled, the rest is just like sewing a basic knit garment. I've got the dress version. This can also be a top. I'm going to wear it mainly on its own, but if it's cold and I need something, check out this 100% linen blazer I bought in Chile on a sale. I could not leave it in the shop because of the quality of the fabric, and it's beige and black, matches my shoes. It's a really simple jacket. It doesn't compete with the dress underneath. You can still see the dress, the features. So this is an option for when I need a little light layer on the top. I can take it off if it gets hot, but usually air conditioning means I'm wearing something on top even though I don't want to. So I love the combination of the beige, the black and the red. I think it's super nice. And the little jacket is light, sun-lined. You can still see the draped features here, and I'm very, very happy. It's a dream dress. So, so lovely. My first option, my first inclination would just be to wear it and rock it. So that's how I showed it to you. I absolutely love how it turned out. It's not tight, it's not loose, it's just beautiful, fits amazing, and all those drapey features here are just the best. Really, really fun made. I love the work that Sana from Sinclair Patterns does with the knit patterns. If you go on the website and look, you're going to see they're super unique. There's designs there that you don't see anywhere else. Sometimes, of course, they take a little bit longer to achieve, but it's so satisfying to make such beautiful garments. This is amazing. I love it. I've got a ton of beautiful dresses. I love them all, but this one, it's red, and the features, it's just so good. Remember, the Mirabel top and dress is 27% off. I will leave the information for you below on the dates. Bye and have fun sewing if you're going to do that today.